Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the new Dark Falz Aegis because it is relatively difficult. However, I was able to get a clear and thus I'm going to explain what we did as well as the different strategies and techniques that made our life a lot easier. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to go over is of course the keyword. The keyword is we_ain't_done_yet. Keep in mind that it is all in capital letters. Once you type that in, you're going to press escape, you're going to go to your systems, you're going to go get campaign items and receive item account, and right here under David Plays NGS, you're going to get 50 star gems as well as a weapon camo. Now if you are an official creator, make sure to pick up all of the build parts. We finally got all of our different build parts, and then as usual we've got our premium storage and material storage, so make sure to pick that up as well. And as you can see here, the weapon camo that we got is the Crazy Galactus. They are a Knuckles weapon camo. However, as usual, if you don't want it, you could always sell it on the market. It's going for an okay price actually. I'm very surprised. I thought that these prices will plummet, but maybe they will later in the day. Now the next thing I want to talk about is if you are planning to do Dark Falz Aegis, make sure that you actually pick up the daily mission from Leah May over here, Major Suppression Target 2, because the reward for defeating Dark Falz Aegis is 60 growth mint, and you can do this every single day. You can actually do this multiple times a day if you have different characters, because this quest is bound per character. So let's say that you have multiple characters and you're planning to do Dark Falz Aegis anyway, you could always just transfer your gear between each character and just clear Dark Falz Aegis over and over and over in order to receive this reward of 60 growth mint for every single character you have. So this is incredibly useful, especially if you don't really want to run the seal exploration, but you do need the growth mint. You can simply clear Dark Falz Aegis as well as Dark Falz Solus, because Dark Falz Solus gives you an additional 30. But basically, if you just do Dark Falz Aegis, Dark Falz Solus, as well as the Seal exploration, just the daily completions, you actually get like 135 growth mint per day. That is a significant amount of growth mint, and that is, yeah, it's a lot of growth mint, which is pretty awesome. Now another thing that has also changed is the weeklies. As you can see now, it is defeat Dark Falz Aegis instead of Dark Falz Solus. So if you do want your 20 star gems, you are going to need to defeat Dark Falz Aegis. Now for those who are wondering where Dark Falz Aegis is, it's actually in Halfia Lake over here. You can see right here, Halfia Lake Interception Part 2. Now the main thing a lot of people are going to have trouble with, especially if you're a mid-core or a casual player, is going to be the battle power, because you need 3,950 battle power. This is actually 200 battle power higher than Dark Falz Solus. As you can see over here, Dark Falz Solus is only 3,750. And because there is this battle power requirement, you are pretty much forced to enhance all of your armors to plus 80 as well as your weapon to plus 80 to even hit this battle power requirement. As you can see over here, my battle power is 4,056 and I have everything maxed out. Now before we jump into the actual fight of Dark Falz Aegis, there are several tips that I want to give everyone. The first tip is subclass Waker is going to save your bacon. The reason why I recommend Waker as a subclass instead of Hunter for survivability is simply because Dark Falz Aegis hits incredibly hard. So it's very important to have some sort of damage mitigation as well as HP recovery. And it just so happens that the Waker just provides better survivability over the Hunter. The Hunter gives you good survivability against low consistent damage that you constantly take, versus the Waker is good against bursty type of damage. And well, Dark Falz Aegis hits so hard that every hit that you take is considered burst damage basically. And so I highly recommend that you take Waker as a subclass and you max out Resto Friends Rescue to level 10 as well as Welfare Management to level 5. Welfare Management at level 5 is going to let you take 30% less damage whenever you get hit by Dark Falz Aegis, which is a very big deal. And on top of that, whenever you use Arrest Assign, it actually heals 10% more HP, which is very useful. If you stack that with Lucky Sign over here, which there's a 20% chance where it doesn't consume any of your consumables or your healing items as well as your revives, this is very, very nice to stack on top of each other. But the main thing that's going to be keeping you alive is going to be the Resto Friends Rescue. And the reason why this is going to make your life so much easier is simply because, as we can see here, there's a 30-second cooldown. However, whenever you take more than 25% of your maximum HP as damage, it has a 100% chance of activating, where it heals 30% of your maximum HP. This is incredibly useful when paired with Welfare Management, because basically you take 30% less damage, and whenever you do take damage, Resto Friends is going to kick in and it's going to heal you back to full HP. HP, or you're just going to take a lot less HP so you don't constantly need to spam your rest assigns. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. So if you are having survivability issues on Dark Falz Aegis, make sure to actually use the Waker subclass, and that's what I actually do. That's what my entire team actually does in the footage that you're about to see right now. Alright, with all of that out of the way, let us actually begin the footage. So at the very beginning of the fight, you're going to see there's this really cool cutscene. It looks exactly the same, to be honest. But the main thing you're going to notice is Dark Falz Aegis' attacks are incredibly fast, alright? It doesn't really give you much time to breathe because it's constantly barraging you with attacks. So it's very important that you take time to actually note down the attacks and get used to it so that you know what is coming. But as you can see over here, the boss is just constantly going to be slamming its fists at you and throwing all these photon blades. These photon blades are incredibly annoying because it basically means that you have to use short cooldown attacks and you can't use long cooldown attacks. But the great part about these photon blades is it allows you to counter them or sidestep them in order to deal lots of damage. I do not recommend people to try to just avoid the photon blades. I recommend that you take advantage of those photon blades to actually convert it into extra damage. Now, when he's smashing all of these AoE attacks to you, there are several moments where there are safe zones, so you can also take advantage of that. But as a Braver, lucky for me, I can simply just counter and then use an extended iframe and I'm good to go. Now, another attack that he also does is this plowing move over here. When this happens, you cannot iframe this. You have to just run away from it. It's pretty annoying, so just keep that in mind. As you can see, I'm just running for my life and spinning away and going whee! So yeah, also don't mind my outfit. I know my outfit's a little bit derpy here, but I just really like it. It's very fitting for Christmas. But nevertheless, this is fairly easy. You know, it's just going to be doing the same attacks over and over. Once you see it the first couple times and once you get used to it, you're good to go for the first phase. Now, there is an attack that you do need to pay attention to, and that is the shockwave over here. When this shockwave comes out, you do need to, you know, kind of notice it because it does deal a metric butt ton of damage. Even with the Waker subclass, if you get hit by that, it might actually still kill you. But moving on, here he does his plowing attack again. You can see we're running for our lives because that thing is unblockable, so you do need to run. And right after that, he's going to shoot more photon blades at you. You do need to take advantage of those photon blades, make sure that you convert that into extra damage. Now he's going to fly away from us. This is the same as like the regular Dark Falz Aegis, however there are some new patterns. So instead of just like the regular wall, he has like some horizontal walls as well and vertical walls. Now you can jump over these walls if you want to, however I just run straight into them and counter them because it just gives me a little bit more movement speed. I can move forward a little bit easier instead of just jumping really high and gliding across. However, if you're not playing a Braver, maybe you're playing a class with a little bit less mobility, then it's perfectly fine to just jump really high and then just glide over all the walls. It makes life a lot easier. Once that's done over here, he's going to summon this ball, and then you just break the ball, and they'll drop some rest assigns as well as reverse assigns, so just pick those up. And then this is a moment where you can DPS a little bit, but again, it doesn't really give you that much time to just sit around and just wail on him. So a lot of the damage that you're going to need to deal is going to be counters, especially if you're a Braver or a Slayer, because he's just constantly barraging you with attacks over here. That was the AoE that I was talking about that was really dangerous, and now we come back to the laser beams. When we're at the laser beams over here, it's not too bad. I mean, there's a pattern to it. It's like counter, counter, auto, counter, counter. That, at least for Braver it is. And so you just get into a rhythm over here. You just kind of need to practice, and you'll get used to it. But over here is a really good time to do a ton of damage, simply because the boss isn't moving and the attacks are just slowly coming towards you. I say slowly, it's not really that slow, but you know, it's relatively slow compared to all of his other attacks. So as you can see over here, he's doing the plowing attack again. And then he's going to do the photon blades. We take advantage of that, convert that into damage, and we just keep doing this. It's going to be the same attacks over and over and over. So here's the AoE attack again. Boom, easy damage. The main thing that I would recommend people to pay attention over here is going to be, of course, like your team composition. Like, you kind of need a ranger because you do need quite a bit of damage. As you can see, I'm at like 5,000 DPS. We had Emiko over here that was actually dealing like 6,900, like almost 7,000 DPS consistent, because they do have a fix of 5 Flugel. So it's pretty crazy, but nevertheless, we move on to the next phase over here. This is the same as always. You know, you got to break these little things and throw the crystals at the boss. However, he does have these rotating planks, and you don't want that to hit you. I don't actually know if it insta-kills you if you get hit by one of those, because I've never been hit by it, but it does look awfully scary, and I don't think you can iframe through it, so just avoid it. Advice that I can give over here is maybe just split up right when this phase happens, because you do need to break all of the crystals and throw all of the things at the boss. So you might want to split up and you know, everyone take a side so that you can get all the crystals easily, since it doesn't take much to actually destroy these crystals. It's like 3 photon arts for me, and yeah. So once you're done with all of that, he blows up all these the platforms, and now he goes back into the plowing stage. But now you'll notice all of his attacks are now red, because, well, he's angry now, so that's something to take note of. You will take more damage, and things will hurt a lot more now. Now, this laser phase is really annoying as a Braver, because it's really hard to keep up with all the silly laser things coming along. What I tend to do is I like to use the dash to try to gap close and when I get too far, but I kind of use my counters as like a range DPS kind of thing in order to hit the core without putting myself in risk with all these lasers, because again, they are red, so they do hurt quite a bit. But we are heading pretty close to the new phase over here. Since this is the new Dark Falz Aegis fight, or part 2, there are of course new rotations and new phases. So I'm just gonna let the video play out until we get to that part. You can see over here that my Waker subclass is saving my bacon. Normally that attack would probably have killed me, but because I have Waker sub, you know, I took like no damage. When he does this attack, you just want to make sure that you hit the very side, because those laser beams hit really quick and they deal tons of damage, and you will pretty much instantly die, even if you're blocking, I believe. So you need to be very careful with that attack. So here are Photon Blades again. This is the shockwave that you need to watch out for. And he's just using his claws, smashing around, just counter, just keep countering, convert it into DPS, and you're good to go. These Photon Blades get really annoying after a while, because sometimes, you know, so much stuff is going on, and you're just like, what is happening? Here we go, we broke the boss, so this is a great time to DPS, obviously, because it's a break phase, so you want to make sure that you use all of your Photon Blasts, all of your burst abilities, and during his break phase, he doesn't shoot any of those Photon Blades, so you can use all of your longer animation attacks, such as Lotus Lightning for Braver. Like, it's very hard to use Lotus Lightning over here. Oh, he's finally going into phase. As you can see, he flies away from us. When he flies away from us, instead of standing in the original spot where we were, we always run to the other side. The reason why we run to the other side is because it gives us more time to react when he's shooting these claws at us. Because if you stand really close to him, like the original spot, you're basically point blank range at him, and it just really sucks because you have to react really fast. And if you're, you know, playing a less mobile class, it's really annoying, and you just don't have enough time. And so we just run to the other side because it forces him to flip over to look at us, since all the players are on the other side. This is something that I highly recommend people to do, because it does make your life significantly easier, and it gives you a lot more time to react to all of his attacks. And then here we go, the rest is pretty much the same until he gets into his next big phase, but here we are, the red lasers again. I'm getting absolutely slaughtered by these lasers because I can't get close to the thing without taking damage, but in the end, I just kind of brute force it. I'm like YOLO, and I just go in. Another thing you can also do is, of course, the weapon action as Braver, because remember, it's hit scan, so it is pretty nice when you do the follow-up empowered normal attacks. But there we go. I think we are going to go into phase relatively soon over here. You see that as a little safe spot that I can hide, and silly Photon Blades pestering me again. That's the invisible knockback thing. And yeah, fairly simple so far. You see, all of these attacks you've seen already. They're nothing new. Once you've seen his first like 5 or 6 attacks, it's pretty much most of the attacks already. So it's not too difficult. He's just going to be spamming the same simple attacks. As long as you get used to the rotation, it's just practice, and I trust that you guys will be able to nail this down. As for the damage part of things, well, that's just kind of up to your gear as well as your skill, right? Because you just need to be able to maintain DPS uptime all the time in order to make sure that you have enough damage to clear it. As you can see over here on the top left corner, you know, we've got like 4 minutes left and the boss is almost dead. You basically need to make sure that you have at least 3 minutes when he goes into his purple phase or his last phase, where he's about to go in pretty soon. I'd say probably after this rotation, he will go into that phase. So we got more photon blades. These photon blades get really annoying after a while, but you just have to pay attention to them, because if you don't, they will absolutely destroy you. Okay, he does this laser beam thing one more time. This is the last phase, and here we go. So during this phase, you need to make sure that you have at least 3 minutes when you hit this phase right here. You can see we have 3 minutes and like 40 something seconds, because this part, yeah, as long as you have 3 minutes when you hit this part, you're good to go, you're safe. It's pretty much a guaranteed clear. All you need to do over here are break all of the purple orbs, and he'll explode, and then you just go in and beat up his core. But as you can see over here, these orbs are pretty tanky. Like, just me and Emiko like wailing on that took quite some time. The little ones are really easy to break, so you don't need to worry about the small ones over here. As you can see, this is the last one over here. We just need to wail on this and beat this up. I believe I used my Photon Blast? I think I used my Photon Blast. And there we go, we destroyed it. I did use my Photon Blast. He explodes. Make sure that you iframe this and don't get hit by it, because well, you see over there, I got hit. But because I'm Waker subclass, I took literally no damage, and you can just run up to this and start wailing on this boss. Now on this part, if you have your Photon Blast, if you lock onto its head, the moment you see the 2 yellow brackets at the side, you can Photon Blast and it will gap close. You'll literally dash like 30 meters forward. It's actually pretty awesome. But nevertheless, there we go. We finished it. Da-da-da-da. And yes, I'm still wearing the derpy reindeer. I promise I won't use it in my next video. I know some people really don't like this outfit, but I really like it and it's really funny. But as you can see over here, the loot is pretty abysmal. We did 3 runs together yesterday, and Alex did get a Flugel guard on the 3rd run, which is pretty awesome. Me and Emiko did get melee weapons, so that was okay, I suppose. So in conclusion, Dark Falz Aegis isn't super hard. It is incredibly fast, and it will feel incredibly overwhelming the very first time you run it. However, once you notice and you know what to look for and you know all of his different attack rotations, it's going to be a lot easier, and you just need to go in with a very calm mind and just don't panic, because it is incredibly fast. Especially the very first time you run it, you're going to be like panic mode, everything's going to be coming left and right, and you will be overwhelmed. However, just calm yourself and just keep practicing, and you will be able to nail this down. Another thing is, of course, survivability. Sure, damage is important. However, at the very beginning, I recommend that you focus on survivability so that you can get the practice in, so that you can see all the different phases. And then after you know everything and you're very comfortable in staying alive, then you can go invest a ton into damage, and try to DPS your way through. But in the very beginning, survivability is key. So as I said earlier, having the Waker subclass is going to save you a ton, simply because of those very OP abilities where you just recover HP, you take 30% less damage, and the 20% chance of not consuming a healing item when you use it. All of these perks added together makes the Waker a very strong subclass to use. And what's better is you don't even need to have your Waker at level 80. Like, Emiko was running with like a level 20 Waker subclass, and it doesn't matter, because remember, all of your skill points are bound to the cocoons. When you've done all the cocoons, you have all the skill points, so you can invest them into your Waker subclass, into your Hunter subclass, into whatever subclass you want. And even if the subclass is level 1, you still gain the benefits from all of those abilities. And so Dark Falz Aegis is just practice, and you will be able to nail it down. It's just very chaotic in the very beginning. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.